Well, I am very excited. This is my first time here, and what better occasion than to celebrate with all of you the end of something and the beginning of something new. As we heard at the beginning of this Mass, we are celebrating the end of the liturgical year. Now, you don't know me, and I don't know you. So this is going to be a funny way to get to know me. I am a teacher, you will forgive me, and as a teacher, I am always interested in learning. So I want to make sure that you learn something up to this point. So I'm going to ask, do you remember what was the first reading from? Yes? The book of Daniel. Great, thank you. There you go. We're not going to clap because we will never end. I'll give you a golden star at the end, don't worry. A more interesting and important question is, do you know the literary genre of the book of Daniel? I'm not speaking Japanese, I promise. The literary genre is a prophetic book. Just like the one we heard on the second reading. And I see some young men here already kind of trying to sing as much as they can so that I don't ask them anything. What was the second reading from? Come on, let me hear it. The book of Revelation. Everybody's like, Revelation? Yes. So we have two very powerful readings. One from the Hebrew scriptures, one from the Christian scriptures, but both are from a prophetic genre. What does that mean? When I say prophetic, some of you may be getting in your head, oh, he's going to talk to us about the future. He's going to, do some divinations here. Maybe. The prophetic literature looks first and foremost to the past. It is a moment in which the prophet or the writer is using past experience to explain what is happening right now. Let me just give you a quick image. I am a painter, so images are important for me. Let's say that you are about to celebrate your birthday, and your grandmother or your mother, because none of you probably would, has a photo album, not Facebook, but the real deal, the real thing. So she wants to share with you some memories, and she opens this photo album from page 1. And she starts saying, oh, no, I don't think that's the right way. Let's go all the way to the end, to the picture I took of you today. And then let me go back. We're going to start going back so that you understand where you come from, how you got here. Prophetic literature does that. It reminds us where we came from. Now, do you know where you come from? You may be thinking, well, of course, I'm from St. Louis, or X or Y, I'm from Mexico City, so. But let's be philosophical about it. Do you know where you come from? Powerful question for you to ponder at the end of a liturgical year. Yes, you come from a specific milieu. Yes, you come from a specific family, but more fundamentally, you come from a loving and caring Creator. I know you scientists are going to tell me that that is not true. And yet, just not to deviate too much from my main argument, remember that scientists have never been able to answer to this very famous story of the scientist who screams, I have discovered the origin of life. God, come down here. And God is like, okay, here I am. He says, come, you have to come to the lab. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to create human beings. And God says, okay, show me. So the scientist says, well, just give me a sec. I need to get a little bit of dirt. And God says, get your own dirt. You come from a loving and caring God. It is hard to understand. It is hard to believe because all of us carry in our lives and in our histories, either personal or familial or societal, pain and suffering and tragedy, like Paris, right? How could a good God allow something like that to happen, right? Invite me and I'll explain that another time. What it is important for us to remember today is that we come from a loving and caring God. And that should speak to our present. That should make us understand that a lot of our yearnings, a lot of our struggles, a lot of our fears, a lot of our hunger, not the Hunger Games, comes from the fact that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you accumulate, no matter how much pleasure you pursue, no matter how much fame you may acquire, there will always be something that feels empty. You were created, as St. Augustine said, by a loving and caring God with a hunger for God, to go back to God. Even those of you who are married or have been married for whatever number of years know this very well. Even the love of your spouse or children will never satisfy that longing. Because you were created for more. I didn't say better. And so today, we look at the past and we remember we were created by a loving and caring God. But that's just half of it. We then come to this moment in which, for whatever reason, the church invites us to celebrate Christ, the King. And I asked you at the beginning of Mass, do you believe in monarchy? And with one exception, everybody went like, no. And do you know why? Because we know that believing in a monarchy, believing in a king, means that that king has a right of life and death over you. That is the most important thing you have to keep in mind. A king owns your life. But let us remember that we are talking about a very specific type of king here. We celebrate Jesus Christ, the King. Meaning, we celebrate somebody who explains what it means to be in charge, what it means to be powerful, what it means to be in control. And I don't see it, but I'm going to pretend that it is right there. You have this, you have been in this chapel many, many times, right? You see the cross. You have the crucifix right there. That is the King that we're celebrating today. The King that came to serve. The King that came to sacrifice himself for us. The King that came to give meaning to our suffering, to our pain, and even to our death. That is why we celebrate Christ the King. Because in him we find the answers, the guidelines, and the reason for everything that we go through. And so we fast forward to the future, which is the other aspect of the prophetic literature. After everything that has happened in recent years, beginning with September 11th and ending with what happened in Paris a couple of weeks ago, we live in fear. Isn't that sad? We live believing that the only way to deal with this is by going like that. Right? Prophetic literature, especially the book of Revelation, was written at a time where the entire place, especially Christians, were going down in flames. They were being persecuted and killed. For us, the invitation today is to say no. No to fear. No to vengeance. No to hatred. No to despair. And to say yes to a God who reigns with peace and love and hope and understanding. The future cannot be a word of destruction. The future must be hope-filled, hopeful. Proclaiming that is not that easy. I know that some of you right now, hearing me say these words, may think, Mexican priest, what does he know? I mean, I was here, by the way, during September 11th. Look at my face. People think I'm from India or Pakistan or Iran or Syria. Or I've had a very entertaining life ever since, because every time they stop me at an airport and search my luggage and do the whole 9 yards, I never tell them I'm a Catholic priest. I wait until they open my luggage. Sorry, moment of confession. Wicked me. We must say yes to life. We must say yes to Christ who wants to reign in our lives. We must say yes to hope. That's what it means to celebrate Christ the King. We come from God, I told you, and we will return to God. Why fear? We come from God, and at the end of our lives, God will open His arms like on the cross to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Come into the kingdom prepared for you.